Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is Emmanuel, and with me today on the other side, I have Bridget. Welcome, Bridget, to my channel. How are you doing?
I'm finding you. Hi, everyone.
Good. Como yet, right? Did I say it right?
Yes,
Como
you said
yet?
you saw the shock on my face.
Yeah.
I'm bien. I'm bien. Anyone who speaks Creole that watches is gonna laugh because my bien sounds really bad. But yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you guys for coming in. For those that will watch later on or whatnot, this is gonna be my last interview of the year, so you have the privilege to be the last one.
Oh, thank you, and God bless you guys for
2020.
this ministry.
Yes, awesome. So, as you see, Bridget, she is a mother, she is a nurse, she is a daughter of God, and she also is an entrepreneur. So, we're going to be talking about all of those things. So, before we get started, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Brigitte Francesca. Everyone calls me the Bridget. If you're not saying Brigitte, I either go by Bree. I have other nicknames, but Bree's fine. I'm a mom to a beautiful and wonderful and an intelligent 10-year-old that will be 11 next in less than a month, which is kind of giving me anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, I am a fiance, soon to be wife, but I'm very grateful to be with someone that always reminds me to be God centered. So that's like I always think about that because I think about how crazy life is right now,
Yeah.
and it's just really good to be around God centered people, or Christ centered people. I'm a nurse. I was in finance for 6 years, and I went into healthcare 4 years ago, and I just keep trying to better myself to I do what I believe is my calling, which is
Mhm.
to serve God through healthcare, which is to serve God through nursing. Um, and yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I've always had that spirit about me. I think it probably started more with finance, but just the realization that you can use a lot of skills and talents that you already
Mhm.
have to serve others while also making money and creating opportunities for yourself and for others.
Nice. That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm glad that you are doing what you love in different areas, serving the Lord through serving people. So that's what's up. So let's get into it. I know you have no clue what the question is going to be about.
I have no clue. As
I
you said,
usually
Brigitte
send
is my
out the
laptop.
questions in advance, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I forgot, I guess. But so yes. So we are already just a few days. A few days or a week before 2021.
Mhm.
What's up, Katisha? God bless my sister. So 2021 is coming up, and we had a crazy year. For many people,
Yes.
it was negative. For many people, it was positive.
Yes.
But all around, it will be unforgettable.
That's very true.
It's something that is always gonna be in the back of somebody's mind because it's just so many things just happen in this country and worldwide because of the pandemic, especially that. That's the main thing. So let me ask you, how have you and your daughter been during the COVID, during the pandemic?
It's been an interesting time. If I'm being completely honest, I think this year kind of went by with the bat of an eye. So
Hmm.
it's like I can kind of quickly remember how it went because it just happened so fast. In the beginning of the pandemic, my daughter was still with me, in the sense that I was still performing my normal routine, going to work. I was in outpatient surgery. So I
Hmm.
was working in the OR, but it was like we weren't deemed like non-essential yet or anything. So my daughter was home, and then by March 13, I had to send my daughter to stay with my mom because that's when it really started to be like a big deal that patients were coming in, they could have COVID, they might not have COVID. So that was like that kind of the beginning of how COVID started to really impact my 2020 in
Hmm.
terms of my relationship with my daughter, because there was a need for us to not be together, which was kind of crazy for me. And it came down to, like, as dramatic as it seems, what you see on TV, it's true. It's like you make a decision where who are you going to be around and who are you going to sacrifice not being around with. And it's not so much like you love one person more than the other. It's just kind of
Hmm.
like a what makes sense for your
Yeah,
family. And with
definitely.
the children being in school remote learning, it made no sense because that's not the kind of schedule I have, or I had. Let me correct myself, that I had. So that was actually how I would say the first critical thing that affected me and my daughter in the beginning of the quarantine, the fact that I had to leave her with my mom, which is not the end of the world, but
Yeah.
because I was still interacting with patients, I couldn't be with her.
Mm.
And the slave thing, and then my mom also has cancer, so it wasn't really one of those things where I can go visit. And my
Yeah.
mom lives 2 hours away, so so it just became one of those. A lot of Zooming, a lot of FaceTime. It's
Mm.
crazy. That was really the beginning of my pandemic, kind of adjusting to that.
That sucks. And how did your daughter feel about that? Like,
I don't think in the beginning my daughter realized the severity, and it's not her fault. She's a child. I don't think any child did, to be honest, that it went from touching and interacting with peers and
mhm.
family to every time you're talking to me, it's FaceTime. So I think in the beginning she handled it well because it seemed like more of like a vacation. I'm gonna be with
Yeah.
grandma, like it's gonna be fun. But after a while, it was like I want to come home.
Uh,
That's like when it started to kind of hit me like, damn, like, like, do I want to be, excuse my language, do I want to be with grandma or do I want to be with mom? And I'm over here thinking, do I want to keep working? But
yeah.
God made a way because he eventually, we were considered non-essential. So I had no business. I
Amen.
had to be home. I had to be home by, with, outside of my choice.
Got it. Got it. Well, at least the most important thing is that both of you and your mom were safe.
Yes.
That's the most important thing. And
Yes.
that's what we all wanted, for everybody to be safe, even though some families are separated or you can't really travel, but at least we know that, your daughter was safe. So that's the number one thing. And thank God and praise God for that.
Yes.
So that's good. That's good. So tell me, Bridget, what's your ethnicity?
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. So I'm born here. Like that's let me just get that out because a lot of people have a hard time believing that. I am born here in America. I was born in Brooklyn and then we went to live in New
Brooklyn in the
Orleans.
house.
But my mother, so my mom's side, they're Haitian and Martiniquais. So on because of my mom's side, I speak French and I speak Creole. My Creole is like I kind of picked it up, but French was like a non-negotiable. That's all I spoke when I was a kid. To the point where, again, people were like, "Are you sure you're born here?" And I'm like, "Yes." We were not allowed to speak English at home. Let's put it that way. We were not allowed to speak English at home. And then on my dad's side, I'm Cuban, so that's where the Cuban and speaking Spanish comes in. But both my parents, they speak multiple languages. So my dad emphasized Portuguese, so I speak Portuguese too because in his family he has Brazilian. So, but it's a beautiful melting pot. My family's very Caribbean as it gets. But on my mom's side, they could be a little stush stush, I lived in France for 8 years because my mom tenía un miedo. Like she was so scared that I would lose like I would lose my French and I'd be too
Yeah.
American. You can't help that stuff. Like the kid's gonna be whatever they are. They're gonna identify with whatever seems true to them.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm definitely in college. They used to call me Incognegra. I used to because they were like, "Breed, no one knows. Like you're not when you speak English, you don't really have an accent." Or I think it depends on who's listening. Because there's
Uh-huh.
some people they're very dramatic, like a mile away. Oh, you have such an accent. I'm like, no, I don't.
Mm-mm.
But then there's some people who like they do a a double turn. I guess I think that's how you say it when they hear me speak another language.
Wow, that's crazy. It's funny because my wife, as you know, she's Haitian.
Hmm.
Um, she's Haitian, and I have a aunt that is teaching me that I can learn, Creole.
Hmm.
And the first thing is, "How are you?" And come yeah,
Como yeah.
yeah. And I've been saying it every day, everywhere I go. I sing it. I'm like, I need to get this, and especially that I do Uber a lot. Where I live
Hmm.
in the Pacific area of Miami, there's a lot of Haitians, so I get Haitians coming into my car every time, and they ask me, "Are you Haitian?" I'm like, "No, but como yet, ça passe."
I mean, that's beautiful because it also shows that you respect the culture. You know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So I'm learning little words here and there, So I have fun
Mhm.
with it. That's right, Katisha. She's been learning Spanish, ASL, and French from her house. That's what's up.
That's good.
That's awesome. So let's talk about going back to the pandemic, but it's going to be a little bit different. Um, how has your relationship with God been during the pandemic?
So your question was how has my relationship with God been impacted by the pandemic?
Or how was your relationship with God during the
Oh, I mean, if I'm being completely transparent, like I had full blown I would say roller coasters, not in the sense of my faith or
Mm.
wavering, but just kind of like, I think so much media, so much coverage on TV nonstop. I think just kind of seeing like so many things that we had control of on a daily basis, we
Mm.
suddenly lost, control of those things. So I would say, if I'm being complete, like I was never really scared. Like I was kind of like in a place of like, oh wow, like it's getting
Yeah.
serious, like oh wow. And then even when I felt like a little bit of like panicky, I kind of realized like God has the first and the last word.
Mm-hmm.
So who am I to lose faith? Like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. But it's so easy to say that on Monday, and then on Wednesday still be scared. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily that we don't believe God and His promises, but it's just I'm trying to find the right word, but it's like you're pummeled with so much like negativity and just of what is happening and how the world is ending. And then in my case, for example, like I did everything I was
Give me one
supposed to.
second. Somebody's knocking on my door. Give me
Go
one.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I need to submit this assignment and it's not happening for me.
Wow. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. All right, I'm back.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, continue.
Yeah, no. So in my case it was kind of like, so not so much losing faith, but just kind of the realization that, por más que, like, it's not like I lost any faith, if that makes sense. It was just kind of this anxiety of everything is coming together, but there's always a setback.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like it really opened my eyes as to I have to hold on to God like there's no tomorrow. Like
Mm.
that became very real to me, and if I'm being completely transparent, my relationship with God went for another level when I realized not only does He have so much for me, and not in a like a superfluous like prosperity way. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
God legit has plans for people, and He will use them the way He uses them in Scripture. Whether you are, you know, whether you're Ruth or Rahab, whether you're
Mm.
Isaac, or Moses, like whatever role you have a role, and He will bring you through every storm to make sure you fulfill that role. And I think the joy I find in the how my relationship with God has grown is that there really is joy in doing it for His glory, because you become a living testimony. And God showed me, if anything, God showed me this pandemic that has still left me speechless, is that none of my efforts matter. God showed me hands down. It literally, I have been living by grace this whole time, and the pandemic showed me working 90 hours a week significa nada,
Amen.
because I didn't work during this pandemic, and the Lord still made a way. So, like my relationship, it's not so much like I guess as like a tangible,
Mm.
material thing, but it really showed me like He's gonna take care of His kids, and that's basically the bottom line.
Amen. I mean, the Bible is very clear that we do all things for the glory of God. You know,
Amen.
like everything that we do, even if it's good, it has
Hmm.
to be for God no matter what. Because without Him, we won't be able to do it.
For
Without Him,
sure.
we won't be able to be in the healthcare field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that, we're going to the next question. Talking about the healthcare field that you are in.
Hmm.
Have you had any negative and positive experiences with a patient or any employee or anything like that?
You mean during the pandemic or just in general?
Specifically now with the pandemic.
I would say it's been twofold. So the most positive I've had is just the appreciation, because I think if a person has an empathetic heart, they realize that we're choosing to continue caring for people and
Mm-hmm.
putting our families' lives at risk. Because someone could completely be like, "Oh, I'm COVID negative," and they don't know until they're tested. Because COVID has taught me that there's so many asymptomatic people out there. It's not even funny. Like, if I'm being completely transparent, they really are. So there are many people that are so thankful. They are so respectful. I think a lot of people, it's hitting them like, even in their family, if someone is in healthcare, it's not something like, it's not a light calling.
Yeah.
Whether you're cleaning the hospital or you're the one performing the surgeries, you're
Mm,
putting your loved ones at risk by exposing yourself to the loved ones of others.
definitely.
In terms of negative experience, if I had to say, I've just had ignorant people. You know, I've met the two things I think that have stuck out to me the most are the people that are one like, why are you doing this? And you're like, what
Wow.
does that have to do with this appointment? You know
That's
what I mean? Like they're really confused as to why people are in this field because they feel like it's so dangerous, it's such a risk. So it's like, why are you doing this? But it's, you know, those kind of comments come up in conversation.
mm-hmm.
And for me, it just makes me remember like it just like anything in life, the enemy will come to discourage you. You know
Of
what I mean?
course.
And then I would say the other thing is that just there's so much misinformation and miseducation out there that everyone now thinks they are a healthcare professional thanks to the internet and being quarantined for like 9 months.
Mm.
So for me, it's the people that are moving away from people in scrubs. I'm like, the person that's probably going to give you COVID is the person reaching over you to get bananas in Walmart. It's not going to be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say that's probably a negative experience I've had because it's humbled me too. Like there's a lot of people who generally care about what we do. There are a
Mm.
lot of people who generally care about what we do, and
They
I'm
won't
grateful for
care.
them.
They won't care. They won't care until one of their family members are in the hospital, or they are and wind up in the hospital.
Hands down, hands down. And I'm actually my perspective is to be open and understanding because it's not easy for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically speaking, this is not an easy pill to swallow for anyone. Of course, there are many overzealous people that think, you know, okay, now this is my time to shine and be the best and you know best nurse that I can be. This is going to be my opportunity to be the best doctor and find a cure. But generally speaking, most people they are scared, like you know, like regular people, and they're
Yeah.
just going to do their part.
Wow. Wow. Crazy, crazy. So they're in the healthcare field. Can you give me examples how busy it was,
What was easy?
or how busy it is in
Oh,
the,
I think you said easy. I was like, no, this is not the field.
in
Nothing easy. When you say busy, meaning now or just in general?
now, just ever since from March all the way to now.
So it was a little bit crazy. Well, it kind of. I was in wound care and surgery before,
Okay.
so it started to die down. And then my where I was doing wound care, they wanted to remove us from the department that I was in and to be on the floor. And I was like, no, because they literally wanted us to be directly with ICU COVID
Mhm.
patients. And in my case, like I said, my mom has cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. Like I cannot be playing with my life like that.
Yeah.
You know, I believe we're called, not called to die. I'm gonna know when I'm called to die. It's not, it's not COVID. You know, knock on wood. But anyway, so it died down, and then I was doing hospice care,
Okay.
and it wasn't busy because it was one on one.
Tough.
And
Hmm.
then but I love hospice care because it gives you an opportunity to still be a nurse without completely negating what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then I kind of was furloughed all that time from May. I want to say May. When did I start working again? May until November.
Mm.
And then now it's busy like crazy because I'm working as a travel nurse, but
Oh,
my assignments are like in the tri-state area, so
okay.
that's from PA to Connecticut. So
Yeah.
I'm able to come home every day, but it is very busy. It is extremely busy because a lot of people don't want to go into clinics and stuff like that, or doctors' offices or anything. They don't want to go anywhere where they can catch anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to them, and you'd be surprised. A lot of people can afford that, can afford for for you to go to them.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
really that's what I meant to say. The concierge medicine is
Mm.
really picking me up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I remember I used to work in a hospital back in 2008, 2009, 2008, 2010, and that was the Englewood Hospital.
Oh, I love Inglewood Hospital.
That's where my mom worked for like 20 plus years, for like almost 30 years.
Oh
And
wow.
then they transferred her to Holy Name Hospital. That was my hospital where I would go, but I worked in Englewood Hospital for 2 years as a patient transporter, and I loved it. Like, besides where I work now,
Hmm.
that was my favorite job ever. Like, I had so much fun, so much fun. I was able to minister to so many patients. It was just amazing. I had so many great experiences. You know, I would appreciate working like that again. It was amazing. I had so much fun. So I know how it is.
Hmm.
I mean, I wasn't a nurse or anything like that, but I've seen how hectic it can be, especially when nurses has no help and the PCA is, doing everything on. So as a matter of fact, as a transporter, we had no help. most of the time. The nurses were all over the place. The PCAs were in a different room with another patient, and I would just slide in the patient to the bed from the bed to the stretch on my own almost every day.
Yeah,
Like I used to.
it's crazy because I think people sleep on how much they need techs,
Yeah.
PCAs, CNAs, transport. There are
Mhm.
many times where I could, believe it or not, I could not get help, and I'm reaching out, calling for another CNA, I'm calling out for another nurse, and it would be a transport that will help me.
Wow. Yes, it's a
So yeah, it's a crazy environment.
yeah, it's a high demand, high demand. So, but I do thank you for, following that path that God has given you to work in that field, in despite of people understanding the dangers and even the love that you have for it. In the midst of it, God has your back regardless. So that's what's up. So keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. So
Thank
talk to me. What are your hobbies?
you. Cooking, like when I'm in a happy mood, but I like cooking anyway because I love food. Um, this is gonna sound corny, but I actually really do like doing spiritual, like faith based challenges, whether I
Mhm.
make them or participate in them. So I'm actually like really into that. So not so much like vision boarding, like manifesting and stuff that you see on TV or online, but kind of like really just dedicating how my path can go in terms of scripture and putting that to a board. So I don't know if that makes sense. Um, I love driving. Um, there's a lot of me that's changed over the years. I used to love dancing, but jazz was in my foot. That's out of my spirit. I mean, I like to be in the house. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I just really like spending time with my family. If I'm being honest, like my hobby right now is just I find so much joy and just being with my fiance and my daughter. I
That's
find like it's just I don't know if it's because it's how hard work is and stuff,
yeah.
or how life can be so challenging. I'm in
Mm.
this place where it's like if I'm not cooking, if everything is kind of centered around like homeness. So if I'm not writing, if I'm not driving, if
Mm.
I love doing lashes, I love doing all those stuff kind of stuff too. But that turned into money for me. It's
Yeah.
really just being home.
Awesome. 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 So you just mentioned last year, which
Hmm.
goes to my next question.
Yes.
So when did you start your business and what is it about?
So I started in 2017, 2018, I want to say. I started more learning as a hobby, but I learned like from one of the best, the best, the best. She's like one of the best estheticians slash lash techs in New York, and because where I used to manage a place where she worked, and we became friends. And the owner actually refused to teach me, and literally her reasoning was, "You're very bright, and everything you do well. Why do you need to learn this too?" And I was just like, um, well, you're running a spa, and for me, it's like I want to know how it works so that if somebody complains or something, like you know what I
Mhm.
mean. Not necessarily I'm gonna run and be render services, but just so I could know. So
Yeah.
fast forward, she when it's her employee who actually decided, and then we became friends. She actually taught me, and then from there, when I was I had my cancer scare in 2018.
Okay.
I had to be home because they found a tumor, but it was benign, thank God. But my doctor's doc still kept me home
Yeah.
for some months, and basically, disability was not coming in because disability is like pulling teeth. So
Mm.
it turned into, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to do lashes, and it went from one to two people like a month, you know. So over the years where I had to turn down appointments. So I'm very grateful to God. But I'm also the kind of person, because I liked it, I
Mhm.
wanted to become more professional. So I started taking classes. So then I started learning other skills. So then I went and got licensed, and I went and got certified.
Right.
And then I really enjoy it because it reminds me of nursing where you're serving others. And it's crazy how in all of this stuff there's ministry. I know it sounds so corny, but in all this stuff there's ministry, because sometimes people can come to you completely broken, and they
Mm.
truly believe it's the outside that they're fixing. But
Yeah.
by the end of the appointment, whether it's healthcare or aesthetics, if the person that's serving you believes in Christ, it turns into like God has your back.
Yeah.
Like, and it's natural. Like it's like the conversation floor, natural. And I can say in the years that I've been doing it, most people are very receptive
Mhm.
to like if the conversation takes that turn. So it's
Yeah.
not like so much that I'm preachy, but it's kind of like I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's my setup. I'm very like, I want it to feel like you're in a spa, whether you're in my studio or you're in my home. You
Mm,
forget that you're, with me. You be like fall asleep, become super relaxed, and
yeah.
people will just lay it all on the table for me.
Wow.
And then it turns into a kind of like I'm serving, I'm rendering a service, but I'm also like there for you spiritually and emotionally, if that makes sense.
That's awesome, man. Like something that is just putting lashes in somebody, and then how they just come and just break down and or talk to you about their issues or whatever, which is a perfect opportunity to pour into them, and hear them out, minister to them, whatever the case may be, which is amazing. Like I mean, I never would have thought that. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
hey, whatever God puts, in our minds or in our lives to serve people, it's a perfect opportunity to, minister to them. So that's awesome. So, ladies, if you are in New Jersey or maybe New York,
I
how,
travel too. I travel. I go to the I go to the person. What I'm doing now, since I'm treating patients, I dedicate a week out of the month to take on customers, because I don't want to mix the two.
yeah,
Obviously, for ethical reasons, because if I'm with someone that has COVID on Monday, I don't want to go see a client on Tuesday. So right now I'm dedicating like a time apart for that, so
yeah.
that there's no cross contamination.
Traveling too? Stop. Look at you. They're doing big things.
I have to. I have to.
Awesome, awesome. So, the next question is, do you have any regrets in life?
Um, I don't know, because I don't really believe in regrets, but I
Mhm,
think my relationship with God has put me in a place to
mhm,
see and understand the cost of not waiting on Him. I'm gonna
mm.
just leave it there. When you don't wait on God, you live by grace. Let's just put it that way. When you don't wait on God, you live by grace and mercy. And there's grace and mercy in a pandemic, and there's grace and mercy in relationships.
Mhm.
There's grace and mercy in finances. There's grace and mercy. So there's levels to it, but I would say all of my regrets are surrounded on not waiting on God or not trusting God, because I didn't have the level of faith that I have now. And it's
Got it.
crazy because I've always been a faith person, but I didn't realize just the void.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In terms
Yeah.
of like where my faith is now versus 10 years ago.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Hey, listen. I know that, and I know that these regrets or these situations make you who you are right now. So a lot of time we be like, yeah, I messed up, I couldn't wait and got this and that, but at least I know where I am right now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So sometimes it's like, dang, do I really want to change that past or but at least we know now, that we must, be patient and waiting God and all that kind of stuff. So that is something good that you have that right now. And yeah, your level of faith is not the same as when you were whatever year
Yeah.
old, So that's awesome. Keep it up. Keep it up. So we have one more question before we go into our bonus question.
Okay. Not a problem.
So this one, and before I ask you this question, you have the option to answer this in any language except for English.
Okay. Okay.
So, what message do you have for Dominicans and Haitians that hate each other?
Um, well,
Eh,
okay, bueno, yo voy a contestar así. Me criaron, en mi familia no me criaron, yo no quiero decir que no me criaron como que el color no existe y cosas así. Eso es pura mentira porque se ve. Pero
mhm,
me criaron como que todo tiene que ver con la persona. Eso es obvio. Entonces, si una persona tiene su alma podrida, pues
mhm,
obviamente es una persona mala. Y si la persona es muy cariñoso, o, all of that stuff, todas esas cosas, una persona buena, la persona es buena.
mhm.
Entonces, cuando yo vi esas cosas pasando entre gente, yo nunca la entendí. Porque para mí es que tú eres bueno o malo.
Mhm.
Y esas cosas de color, de cultura, claro que tiene su valor, pero realmente no tiene sentido, especialmente cuando entre los haitianos y los dominicanos, hay entre de ellos, porque no todos nosotros somos así, ¿verdad?
Mhm.
Que nosotros tenemos que ver que si yo fuera en los Estados Unidos, si yo no hablo, la gente nunca va a saber qué soy yo,
Yeah.
de dónde vengo yo. Entonces, Mi mensaje para ellos es primeramente si realmente, y eso tiene que ver, que tú tienes que ver en tu alma, quién tú eres. Porque tú puedes hacer un show delante de la gente, pero realmente quién tú eres va a salir como quiera, especialmente en frente de Dios. Si en tu alma tú eres un hijo de Dios, una hija de Dios, esas cosas, tú no puedes tener problema con ellos.
Amen.
Porque realmente es mi hermano, es mi hermana. Y además este año yo creo que fue este año, sino el año pasado, nosotros en el lado de mi mamá salieron que su papá bueno, él es haitiano, bueno, él ya se falleció, pero mi abuelo fue haitiano. Salió que sus padres fue dominicano.
Oh, wow.
Y para mí yo lo veo así, ok. Porque para mí una cosa que yo aprendí hace mucho y me encantó esta elección esta lección fue de un dominicano cuando yo fui allá en el año 2017, creo yo, fue, no, en el año 2007 fue. Y el Señor estaba haciendo como esas personas que guían, que hacen...
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I don't know if you can see me. Él estaba diciendo que no tiene sentido.
Your screen went black. Where did you go? Oh man, her phone is acting up. No, and this was so good. You there, Bridget? I'll wait. This is not good. Well, the question I had to ask her is, well, I already said, what message do you have for Haitian Dominicans?
Can
Oh,
you,
you back?
can you,
You
you
back?
can, okay.
Okay.
I was trying to figure it out, sorry.
You good? You good?
Anyway, no, I was going to leave it at basically, él estaba diciendo que su madre era dominicana, no,
Tu papá.
su papá era dominicano, la mamá dominicana, pero él nació allá.
Oh,
Y
no.
él estaba diciendo que en su casa hablaba creol, hablaba español, los dos padres. Y él me dijo que la gente que anda con esa actitud, que son mejor, que como que no, como él siempre decía, sus padres siempre decían, nosotros somos una isla. Aunque que hay un parte que habla creola, un parte que habla francés, no tiene sentido. Obviamente hay historia, hay tantas cosas como hay niveles, let's be honest, de lo que está pasando entre ellos, pero realmente cuando yo encuentro a una persona que me dice que no me gusta lo dominicano, que no me gusta lo haitiano, I laugh, yo río, porque a mí no tiene sentido, porque tú no puedes pararte y decir, yo soy un hijo de Dios, yo amo a Dios, soy cristiano, whatever, y después tener odio en tu corazón. Es una cosa que yo aprendí, especialmente de mi novio, que por eso que yo lo amo mucho, porque él es la primera persona que me ayudó a ver eso. Él dice, el ser cristiano, el cristiano realmente no tiene odio en su corazón, tiene amor. Entonces, el momento que tú puedes encontrar un poquito de odio, falta Dios.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So para mí, así que yo veo todos estos conflictos, para mí, tú no puedes hablar que eres cristiano. Tú no puedes hablar que eres cristiana. Entonces, si tú eres un hijo de Dios, esas cosas no pueden existir en tu vida.
Amen, amen. Ah, tenemos una predicadora aquí esta noche.
No.
We got a preacher in the house.
No.
All right. So we're going to go into the two bonus questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Number one is really good. And mind you, I did not have a purpose of picking this question. I thought it was just really good. But knowing now who you are and what you do as a living or whatever, this question is going to make you think. So, number one, would you rather be born blind or would you go blind?
I would rather go blind.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Why?
I've had a lot of opportunities to, I think you get the opportunity to absorb and see and
Hmm.
experienced so much of life, and
Yeah.
at least I'll have that memory.
Wow. That's very that's a very you will be very content in that. Because for me, I was telling my wife that I don't know. I told her, I'm like, you know what? I think I'd rather just be born blind. And my reasoning was,
To never
is,
know.
yes, because once I experienced life and seen with my eyes, family, friends, and going out to places, whatever, and then have to go blind, it's like, man, the pain I would feel. You know what I'm saying? And I just think about my father's uncle, my father's cousin, Silvio. And I remember when we were young, we used to go to Massachusetts, and I think it was Maryland or Massachusetts, one of those two. We would visit him and his family like for the summer, and he was fine. And it
Mhm.
wasn't until later in his years he was blind. He went blind. And I remember the last time I saw him was in 2011 when he came to my father's funeral, and that hurt me the most because he could not see my father. You know what I'm saying? Like he was in front of a casket and his hand on his chest or whatever on his hand,
Mhm.
but he could not see my father. I'm pretty sure he remembered how he looked because they had many years together. It just sucks that he couldn't see him the last time that he's there. You know what I'm saying? So that was my reasoning. So, but I like yours. So that the fact that you had experiences and you've done this and you've done that, that you'll be content. You'll have memories. So that's a different perspective. So I like that. I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
So the second one and the last one is would you rather have everyone know the details of your finances or the details of your love life?
I think I would choose my finances. I would choose
I
keeping it
said
at
the
that
same
one. I
thing.
think I don't. No one needs to be that much into my love life.
I
I would choose
tell
my
my wife the same thing. Listen, they can know all my finances all they want, but they
You
don't
can
need
know my credit
to
score, lack thereof. I don't care. But you're not about
for
to.
real.
And envidia existe. Let's leave it at that.
Awesome, awesome. So, before we close it out,
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a giveaway.
Uh huh.
I'm gonna have you in charge of this giveaway, and this is actually a book by Chris Hogan, Everyday Millionaire: How Ordinary People Build Extraordinary Wealth, and How You Can Too. And he is one of the He was one of the Ramsey personalities, so he works very close with Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
Um, so yes, and what I can do is I can move it to your place, and then you can do whatever you want, how you want to do a giveaway, or maybe you want to give it to somebody at work. I don't know, whatever you want, or do something on social media, whatever.
Mhm.
So people will on your side will have a chance to have that in their hands. All
Thank you.
right,
Thank you. Wait,
awesome.
so I'm supposed to read it then share it?
You can read it if you want, but you can read it if you want, but it's ultimately as a giveaway as well. So,
Gotcha.
cool, cool. And last thing, where can we find you if people want to know more about you or your eyelashes and stuff like that?
Oh, on Instagram, my business page is
I don't
at
have, I don't
Lushly.
have that page.
My Instagram business page is at Lushly Lashes.
Okay.
So literally how it sounds, LULSHLYLASHES.
Okay.
And if you want to find me on Facebook, it's just Brie Limon.
All right. All right. Cool. Cool.
BRII space LIMON.
Cool. Cool. I'm gonna put all that stuff in the description box so people can know where to find you. All right. So I just want to thank you, Bridget,
Thank you.
for coming on. I know you are a busy woman, but
I'm literally like, whenever you see me, I'm not side eyeing you. I'm like
yeah,
supposed to be in class right now. And I'm just trying to, I cannot figure for the life of me how to get into the class. So
yeah, that's awesome. But thank you for what you do over there in New Jersey. As far as I know, that's my home state. Born and
yes,
raised.
yes. You said North Bergen, right?
Huh?
You said North Bergen, right?
Yes, North Bergen. I lived in Gothenburg, which is like a few blocks, over for like 6 years, and then I moved over to North Bergen. You know, so that's where I live, and I'm here in Miami for 4 years. So thank you again. I hope you have a good Christmas, a great Happy New Year. We don't know what 2021 is gonna come about, but we're gonna trust God no matter what.
Amen.
And
Amen. Like I said,
anybody else? Yes. Go ahead.
oh no, no, I was gonna say, like I said, I realized that we're not in control. So you know, like how people go into 2021 with like 1,001. I'm literally just like, I'm just here for the ball to drop, and if I
Yeah,
wake up on, like I'm just taking it as it comes.
exactly. Awesome, awesome. So everybody else, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, enjoy your family, be safe, cover yourselves if you guys are traveling or whatnot, and eat a lot of food. But make sure you lose that weight again, all the calories. All right, guys. I'll see y'all next year and with some new stuff and more interviews. All right, guys. Peace.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right.